This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the LCTV News. Take some time to learn more about your city, while also getting a reprieve from the increasing heat outside. A majority of headlines and events this week focus on government affairs, from the local budget to proposed state bills, balanced out nicely by several community gatherings and the celebration of Juneteenth. So let's jump right in with the news for Friday, June 20th, 2025. During their meeting on June 18th, the City Council unanimously approved Mayor Nicholson's $533 million budget for fiscal year 2026. Education remains a top priority, with Lynn Public Schools receiving $269.5 million. Nicholson also highlighted the opening of 3 new schools this upcoming fall. The city's limited revenue growth is also a factor, as they rely heavily on new private investments and increased state education funds that are designated specifically for the schools. However, with the rising costs of healthcare, pensions, and inflation, Lynn must continue to take advantage of grants and targeted investments, as stated by Nicholson. The only uncertainty for the budget is how it will change through the federal administration, as there has been instability in funding for cities such as Lynn. For example, the city's urban forestry initiatives were halted after the federal government cut ties with the Arbor Day Foundation. Climate resiliency programs were also at risk, but were ultimately saved by Mass Save funding. The budget will also fund collective bargaining agreements set to expire this month, as well as a new fleet manager position to manage city vehicles and street cleaning efforts by ROCA. Public safety and infrastructure received their share of the budget for investments such as a new snow fighter vehicle, automated external defibrillators, police motorcycles, and radios. Nicholson concluded his remarks by thanking the council and all the staff who contributed to the budget. On Tuesday, June 17th, Senator Brendan Crighton testified before the Joint Committee on Education in support of S323, legislation he filed that would require the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education to issue guidelines to schools on how to implement bell-to-bell cell phone bans and require schools to enforce these bans. This bill also includes proper procedures for the collection, isolation, and return of the banned devices. According to Senator Crighton, before smartphones, students were able to focus more consistently on their teachers and their work. Since the introduction of the smartphone in 2007, students are distracted by constant streams of text, calls, and social media notifications. Senator Crighton filed the bill after discussions with the Becca Schmill Foundation and Massachusetts Coalition for Phone-Free Schools. Quote, "All this evidence clearly points to one conclusion. We must take decisive action to ban the use of cell phones in school by students. Only sustained day-long separation from smartphones, also known as a bell-to-bell ban, is sufficient to prevent these academic and mental health impacts," end quote. Several other states, such as New York and Arizona, have implemented similar policies, which proved to have positive results so far. S.323, along with 40 other bills, will be voted on by the committee to determine if they will proceed with the legislation. Lynn Main Streets hosted their first ever annual fundraising event at High Rock Tower on Thursday, June 12th. Attendees were treated to free food from several local restaurants, as well as entertainment from local Lynn artists. They could also donate to and learn more about the mission of LMS. Lynn Main Streets held their first annual fundraiser the evening of June 12th. Visitors enjoyed food from several local restaurants against the backdrop of High Rock Tower. It was perfect weather to look out across the city while enjoying cuisine from Papi Vivi, Enzo's Pizzeria, and more. Lynn Main Streets was established in 2019 with the goal of bringing existing recommendations and plans for downtown Lynn into fruition. This fundraiser raised money to support marketing efforts, improve downtown infrastructure, and finance community events, including the Lynn Arts and Culture Festival held every summer. In the spirit of local art, singer Gabby Simpkins performed inside the tower itself, while Janiyah Spencer was outside, live painting a portrait. Attendees could also climb the tower and take a look through the telescope at the top of High Rock. As it was still light out, they were treated to a glimpse of sunspots and a conversation with volunteer astronomer and current LMS board chair, Dr. Josh Judkins. All in all, a successful night of fundraising and networking. For LCTV News, I'm Dani Vittori. The Floating Bridge Pond Association and Ward 2 Councillor Obed Matul are looking to continue their tradition from last year of lining Buchanan Bridge with flags, and they are asking for your help. Their goal is to purchase 20 American-made American flags at $100 apiece to be hung from the lamp posts along the bridge. These flags are also sturdy enough to sustain the high winds often felt in that part of the city. If anyone in the community wishes to contribute, they can make a check out to the Floating Bridge Pond Association. All checks and donations can be mailed to 365 Chatham Street, Lynn, attention Obed Matul. The group will be accepting donations until the flags are displayed. This year's flag raising will take place next Friday, June 27th at a to-be-determined time. Anyone interested is also welcome to come partake in the event. The weather held out just enough for the second annual Cook Street Park Fiesta over the weekend. 24 vendors filled the upper level of the park, offering anything from giveaways to food to information on community resources.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Obed Matul. I am the Ward 2 City Councilor, and we are here at Cook Street celebrating the second annual Cook Street Park Community Fiesta. We have a great group of people here today. We have over 26 vendors talking about different resources that are available to the community, talking about services that they offer. We have anything from the YMCA to Ebenezer Tax and Services, the Lynn Health Department inspectional services. There's a lot of really good information being handed out today, so we're very happy with the turnout that we have. The weather has been very helpful. The rain has been holding off, so we're very happy with that. I want to thank Lynn Community Television for being out here and supporting us as always. And I want to thank all the vendors for being here as well, being very supportive. We have the community that has come out. Despite the weather, despite everything that's happening, we have a really good turnout, and we are very happy. So thank you for being here. We had a great turnout last year. We had over 700 people come out last year, so we wanted to do it again, and we want this to continue doing this every year. It's very resourceful. There's a lot of information being passed around, aside from fun from the family, from having games and all the vendors having little handouts. It's very informative. There's a lot of resources. For example, the YMCA just announced that they're doing the free memberships for 7th and 8th graders. Parks and Recreationals is out here to offering different programs that are free for the community. So we wanted to do it just to bring the community together and at the same time inform the community of different resources that are available for them.
Another annual event took place the night of June 17th, with the raising of the Juneteenth flag over City Hall. The North Shore Juneteenth Association hosts this event every year, both as a celebration and reminder of just how precious freedom can be.
From the gloomy past till now, we stand at last.
On Tuesday, June 17th, the North Shore Juneteenth Association and City of Lynn held the annual Juneteenth flag-raising ceremony.
This day marks freedom for Black Americans, as freedom is marked for the Dominican Republic, as freedom is marked for Haiti, as freedom is marked for every other culture in our American society, on American soil. Emancipation for Black Americans should be honored, recognized, and acknowledged as well.
First, the pastor at the Nazarene Church gave a prayer to open the ceremony before the crowd heard from speakers.
Black excellence isn't just about celebration. It's about showing up, speaking out, and staying in the fight.
And recognize and celebrate the members of the Black community here in Lynn for the amazing contributions over the years on Black history, but also Black leadership or Black community.
Let's not call it something that's not to be celebrated. Let's call it what it is. It is a celebration of freedom. Just as the 4th of July, just as every other nation celebrates their freedom, we get to celebrate our freedom as well.
While the focus was on the Juneteenth holiday, the speaker's words also tied in the current political climate with what Juneteenth is all about.
This is why Juneteenth isn't just a celebration, it's just a warning. It's a warning. A reminder that every inch of freedom has been fought for, and that freedom can be reversed when we look away. And we must not look away.
Our world is at a crossroads, and if we do not come together, we are going to lose our souls to this devil called hateful, willful, and ignorance. In the seconds that it takes to acclimate vision from cloudy to clear, we can lose all that we hold dear. Everything that is sacred and holy to you, everything that when you were born, having the rights to be and do, everything can be taken from you if we let this hatred win.
After speakers were done, Janie David performed the Black National Anthem.
True to our
Lastly, the crowd moved outside to gather around the flagpole as the Juneteenth flag was raised.
As previously reported, the MBTA is partnering with the City of Lynn and DCR and Mass DOT to redesign the Lynnway for all users. For years, the Lynnway has prioritized motor vehicles, making the area extremely difficult to maneuver for cyclists, pedestrians, and bus riders. But this new design will create a multi-modal corridor to support a long-term, safer, more accessible city. To this end, the MBTA is asking for input from the community via a Lynnway Multi-Mode Corridor Survey 2025. Available in 7 languages, the survey is available until Sunday, July 13th. Questions include the biggest barriers to traversing the Lynnway, top priorities for a redesigned Lynnway, and how safe people feel when they're driving, biking, or walking along the Lynnway. The 4 main priorities of this project are safety upgrades, transit improvements, bike connectivity, and traffic signal modernization. Info sheets are also available in multiple languages through the Lynn Planning Department. Most people in this community know Sean Reed, even more so since he became a state representative. But fewer people will know about his extensive work with the Lynn Shelter Association. Reed has done so much, in fact, that the LSA Family Shelter was dedicated in his honor the morning of the 19th.
One of the quotes that I was given, which really resonated with me, particularly in thinking about Sean, is the ultimate measure of a man is not where he stands in moments of comfort and convenience, but where he stands during challenge and controversy. That epitomizes the man I know. I think, when I was reflecting on this last night, I thought, what I know of Sean is that he wants a kid that lives in that shelter, in this shelter, to outshine.
But thank you all for being here. I really, really appreciate it. Special thank you to my wife, Kelsey, and son, Jack. They're my rocks, my reason, and the reason I'm sitting here today. And to LSA, I don't even know where to begin or where to end. Thank you for the work you do every day to help families like you help mine. Thank you for overcoming so many hurdles to get the Reed House done. And obviously, thank you for this unimaginable honor for my family and I. I don't think I'll ever have the words to really describe what it means to me. It's the message it sends off. Someone who is, been in those shoes, been in these walls, and knows what it's like to experience it. I think it sends a powerful message. It's powerful for the people who live in these places or are in these type of situations, that there is a brighter future ahead, that there is a path forward, and that there are people that want to help. It's important for all of us. It's a reminder to all of us. So many of us work in government or nonprofits or give back to the community in some way. And it's a reminder that the work we do actually matters. While my unique circumstances are different, the journey is not that uncommon of coming from places like this and going on to achieve remarkable things, whatever that remarkable is. So I'll leave it that. I just want to say, keep fighting the good fight. Thank you all for being here, and here's to many great years at the Reed House. Thanks so much.
At 4-9, the North Shore Navigators are a far cry from playoff contention, but they still have some time. On the road, the Navs defeated North Adams 5-3 behind a 4-double, 4-run 6th inning. Jesse Jakonski and Brooke Wrights contributed 2 RBIs apiece. Jakonski's 2-out, 2-run double in the 6th proved to be the difference in the game. North Shore then fell at home 1-0 to the Newport Gulls on the 17th. The Red Sox are showing some promise, going 8-2 in their last 10 games. Boston hosted and swept the Yankees over the weekend, limiting New York to just 4 runs in 3 games. But the headline this week was the trading of Sox star Rafael Devers to the San Francisco Giants. The 9-year Red Sox was just 3 years into a $313.5 million contract. But spring training drama and apparent fraying relations with the team were enough to send him west. The Sox did win 2 of 3 against the Seattle Mariners following the trade, but only time will tell if this was the right move to make. The Open Door has markets in 13 communities around the North Shore, including a mobile food market in collaboration with North Shore Community College right here in Lynn. They were our guests this week to discuss the uptick in need for food services and the mobile markets they offer. Hello everyone and welcome back to the Lynn Lowdown. I'm Dani Vittori and today we welcome on the President and CEO of the Open Door. Thank you so much for joining us today, Julie.
Dani, it's really a pleasure to be here.
I know, I'm excited. I'm really excited to hop right into this. And we are here to talk about Lynn specifically, but before we do, would you just mind giving a brief overview of the Open Door, because you've been a part of this organization for many years.
I have been part of the Open Door for a long time. I like to say that it brought me up. But the Open Door has been around since 1978. It started as a very small food pantry where people could go and get food, and it has grown to be what it is today with several food pantry locations, mobile market locations, one of which is right here in Lynn, yes. Along with medically tailored groceries, meal programs, summer meals for kids, a really robust social enterprise, second glance thrift store. Hey, to all the thrifters out there, it's worth going to Gloucester. And really, we work with a mission to alleviate the impact of hunger in our communities. Mm-hmm. And we're serving 11 cities and towns, plus Danvers and Lynn with our mobile market.
Wow. And you said you're based in Gloucester. That's your home base.
That is. So our main campus is in Gloucester. We have another pantry in Ipswich, and then we have our thrift store location. So 3 different locations.
Nice. You're just everywhere. You're just always moving around.
You know, we like to make people think that.
Yeah, see?
Yeah.
You make them think you're everywhere.
That's right.
How it works. And you were even talking about how recently, even just last year, the need went up by 30%. I mean, food insecurity, hunger is becoming such a huge, prevalent issue. It's right in our faces.
You know, it really is. So 2 years in a row, the Open Door saw a 30% increase in requests for food assistance through all of our programs overall. And just for scope and scale, we're giving out about 2.3 million pounds of food on an annual basis. And it goes out in the form of whole groceries, fresh produce, or prepared meals from our kitchens.
Wow, that is a lot.
Yeah. It is. And, you know, we were talking a little earlier, but just the cost of living in this area, wages haven't kept pace with the cost of living. It's tough to keep a roof over your head and food on the table. And that's why the Open Door is here, is just to help give that little extra oomph to make it to the end of the month.
And as you were talking about too, in Lynn specifically, you have a mobile market that comes. I know I had a few pictures of it. It looks great. I mean, like you were saying, it's almost like an ice cream truck, but instead you open it and there's fresh produce.
Yes, and what a feast for the eyes. You know,
Yes.
Bright red apples and oranges and bananas and produce for you and your family. And we do have a location here in Lynn. It's on the 2nd and 4th Wednesdays of the month. And, you know, it's really for students who attend the Lynn campus, and then we also do it in Danvers. So we've partnered with the North Shore Community College since 2016.
Wow, that must be, well, it's now in your 9th, 10th year. It's obviously a very successful partnership with them.
It has been, and you know, it came out of a study that was done that showed that 53% of students attending either the Danvers or Lynn campus were either at risk of being food insecure or they were food insecure.
Wow.
So you could say, you know, what's a Gloucester organization doing in Lynn? We work very carefully with our partners here in Lynn, respect the work that they do. But there was a study in 2016, as I mentioned, that showed that high food insecurity rate. And the students attending those campuses live in the areas that we serve. And that's how we ended up here.
Yeah, that's how you landed here. And even what you were saying, you provide not just food, but it's nutrient-rich food that helps keep the population healthy.
Right. You know, people don't often think of it, but the food that we eat is a social determinant of our health. And access to good, healthy food is the first and best building block to better health.
And I will ask too, I mean, you're president, CEO, you must wear about 50 different hats, but being involved in this organization, how much would you say it's grown even over the past, 23 years since you've been involved?
Yeah, I've been involved as the executive director first and then the president and CEO for 23 years. My anniversary was actually on April 1st, which was no April Fool's joke. It was real. But prior to that, I served on the board of directors. So all in, I'm at 26 years with the organization, and we have grown a lot. We've grown to meet the need, not just for the sake of growing.
Right.
And it's sobering to think that the need out there is that great.
I know, you think you're growing, it's very impressive what your organization is doing, but the idea that it has increased so much even just in the last couple of years.
Right. It's staggering. And to be truthful, amid all the federal cuts that are going on right now, we are really doubling down on our core programs to be sure that people have what they need to remain stable.
And another thing, too, you were mentioning was also providing sometimes nutritional education information. So would you want to talk a little bit about that?
Sure, yes. So certainly healthy food is important, but knowing what to do with it, how to use it, what are the best things for certain health conditions, or even just maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And so we'll have nutrition workshops, nutrition samples alongside the mobile market so that people can say, oh, well, this is what I can do with this. And, or no, I never have tried this before, but I'm going to take this recipe and try it at home. And Dani, one of the things that we noticed right away when we started the mobile market was yes, we could share a recipe, but more important is to say, what do you do with this? And in that simple exchange of recipes and ideas, saying, well, my grandmother always used kale in this way, it was an equalizer. It didn't feel like it was a handout. It was a market, and you were swapping recipes, and it was part of your community, and we were invited into communities and got to be part of it.
Yeah, just a market where you can go for food, exchange stories. It's, like you said, it doesn't feel as uneven.
Right. Well, and if you look at world civilization, we started in the marketplace, right?
We did, yep.
Yes, and so in a microcosm, everywhere a little market goes, we've created that, and we haven't done it alone. We've done it by the people who participate and make it a really great place to access food.
And would you say, I would say the mobile markets are obviously, they're quite popular, but do you know how much food you tend to distribute through those specifically? Yeah, so last year in 2024, it was 169,000 pounds of food that went out through those markets. And in the face of 2.3 million pounds, it doesn't sound like that much, but let me tell you this. Lettuce doesn't weigh that much, kale doesn't weigh that much. So the nutrient dense foods that went out didn't weigh as much, but they still went out through those markets. And it's primarily it's fresh produce going out through those markets. You just answered my next question. You mentioned a lot of the foods, but that's what the focus is,
right.
The produce.
Just really produce always, and then we'll just add a protein and a few add-on items for people. Just depend, it might be yogurt that we add, it might be milk, it might be eggs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
And the recipe piece about that is obviously huge, because I'll admit, I myself am not the best cook. So you could give me ingredients and I might not know quite what to do with it. I might be kind of not overwhelmed, but a little bit confused by it. So.
Right. So we often talk about it's not only access, but it's utilization of what we give. And those recipes or taste tests or samples are a nice way to intrigue people into trying like a black bean brownie, for example, or a cake that has beets in it. And so you're getting extra nutrients in a sweet treat.
I'm now curious about both of the things you just said. I'm now very curious.
Well, I have some recipes for you. Ooh. And on our website, you'll find a lot of our recipes.
And I'll ask, too, you mentioned you're partnering with the college. So do you have to be a student there to go to the market, or can anyone in the community come?
So primarily these markets are for the North Shore Community College community, but if you are a professor there, if you go there, if you have a child who goes there, you can access the market. And one of the things that we've found in all the years that we've been doing this is that making a market universal destigmatizes it, so that no one is saying, oh, well, we don't go to that because that's for, people who don't have money or for poor people. It's a market for the location that we're in. And in such, we partner with elementary schools, we partner with YMCAs, senior centers, veteran centers, and it helps build the sense of community, but also just takes away that stigma that can make it so hard for someone to ask for help.
Yeah, it does. I mean, I've gone to farmers markets before, and like you said, there shouldn't be stigma around it. Just getting food, getting what you need, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with that.
Right, absolutely.
I get so involved in the interviews, I always forget to check what time it is, but I know I do have to wrap up in a moment. But was there anything else that I hadn't mentioned that you wanted to make sure you talked about with the Open Door?
Yeah, so we're just really glad that you had us here. And I would want to say that anyone who's looking to participate in the Lynn Mobile Market or any of the mobile markets that we have, you can go to our website, which is foodpantry.org. And if you just click and see, what our services are, you'll see a whole schedule of the mobile market. There are over 25 different locations where people can access the mobile market. And I would also just say, if you need help, get help. You're not taking it from anyone else. That's why we're here.
Exactly. So you just said it perfectly. I don't think I could say that any better myself. Actually, I know I couldn't. So I just want to thank you again so much for coming on to really share this great resource.
Oh, thank you, Dani. It's been great.
Of course, it always. And once again, I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the Lynn Lowdown, and we'll see you next week with more guests.
splash pads will be open around Lynn daily from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. starting June 7th and going until September 6th. There are 4 splash pads located around the city at Flax Pond Park in Ward 1, Kylie Park in Ward 3, Neptune Boulevard Park in Ward 6, and Barry Park in Ward 7.
Next week is full of Pride events, including 2 back-to-back on Tuesday, June 24th. First up is the annual Pride flag raising at City Hall, beginning at 6:30 p.m. Since 2010, the flag has been raised in support of the city's LGBTQ+ residents. In addition to the flag raising, there will be speeches, performances, and United Lynn Pride will honor several individuals who have significantly impacted Lynn's LGBTQ+ community. Then head over to Lynn Common to see the newly restored fountain illuminated in rainbow lights. There will also be community resource tables and music. Head to Frederick Douglass Park from 6 to 9 p.m. on June 27th for Final Fridays Fashion Week. The Lynn Museum and Arts Center will be hosting an outdoor fashion show, spotlighting local artists and designers with an interactive runway experience, made even more engaging with a special guest performer and vendor tables. Postponed several times due to weather, the community can finally come together for Paint a Pride crosswalk the morning of June 28th. From 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., join United Lynn Pride at the intersection of Sagamore and Washington Street. This crosswalk will honor Fran's Place, a gay bar that served as a cornerstone of Sagamore Street and was one of the oldest gay bars in Massachusetts. These are just some of the amazing events happening in the city. To see our complete community calendar, member and staff content, as well as press releases, visit lyntv.org. And follow us on social media at Lynn Community TV for real-time updates on breaking news and news stories. If videos are your main interest, then head to Lynn Community Television on YouTube. I'm Dani Vittori. This has been the LCTV News, and we will see you next week.
This episode of the LCTV News is brought to you by Leo Inc., Daolis Brothers Construction, and King Movers and Storage.